Everything's just fucking dropping, man. I got it. I just hit it, so I have to drop it this game. Oof. Let's fucking go.
Let's
Yeah,
go,
Master
baby.
Prestige, bro.
Let's go, baby.
No, I just, we're there. But I gotta get 28 kills straight for the legacy shit. Last one. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Holy shit.
Oh, I fucking told you could do it, Ryan. Let's fucking go.
Oh, I headshot. There's a guy above
3
me.
hearts open right side and they're spawn.
Oh! 2 quick actually. I can help.
Oh!
Never mind. I was just playing bomb. You do your thing.
Oh my god! Yeah, sit the fuck down. No fucking way, guys. I'm shadow banned, bro. Je m'appelle Baguette. Oui, oui.
Baguette, fromage. Oui, oui.
Oui, oui, Baguette. Oui, oui, Baguette.
Ferme ta figuière avant que je passe. Oui, oui, Baguette.
I'm speaking the only friends I know. You have been temporarily removed from public communication. Why? I told a French person my name was Baguette. That is all I've done. Pass on. Pass on. I have a sharpie says I'm mid. Ah, there's one there. Dead. Dead. Ah, there's one back right.
We just
Dead.
have nothing but beans call out.
One back spot. Dead.
Beans.
I can't. Back right. 3. One dead. Dead. Ah. I picked up your EBR.
My fucking shit.
It's a good response.
Was a good.
It was a bad throw. I don't know what you want.
Yeah. Throw the bomb.
Oh my fucking god!
Yeah. Yo, why don't you get 20 kills and win the game, pussy? You cannot talk. Don't talk. Don't talk. Your mouth, keep it shut. Keep your mouth shut. You're 15-7, I'm 26. There's a clear difference between our skill level. Your buddy down there has 2 kills. He's dog shit. He's even worse than you.
Yeah, I got a TikTok check today. That's a reason to
Check, you want that.
Alright, we all knew this was coming, but we need to talk for a second. Yes, last video was technically my return to making YouTube videos. No, I did not quit, even though I really wanted to. I know this video isn't 100% necessary, but I felt like I should do it as just a courtesy to anyone who knows me personally or does watch my videos. You know, I just a bit of an update. This is just me talking about what happened within this past year. If you don't care, feel free to click off the video. No gameplay here, okay? No shit talk. But what you will get is 1, an explanation, and 2, future plans. Not anything too in-depth because it's some things are kind of a secret, but I can tell you generally what I plan to do. And a lot is happening very soon. I don't know how long this video is going to be, so I guess just treat this like a podcast and throw it on in the background. If you guys know me, you know I can yap a lot. And I will be getting pretty vulnerable in this talk, so you know, bear with me here. So some of you might have been here last year when I kind of decided to throw up a video where I was going to quit Call of Duty videos and go to making content on K-pop and Korea and Japan and all of that stuff, because yes, I am into that. My current end life goal is to pretty much live in Korea by the end of it, hopefully within a couple years when I save up money, whether that's through a working holiday visa, whether that's going to school there, whatever opportunities arise by the time I'm done saving money is what I'm going to end up going with as of right now. I've always been one that's subject to change. I know things will change and I'm completely okay if they do change. So I pretty much jumped the gun when it came to making that decision. The reason being, around June of last year, we moved into this house. You would have seen my setup video that I put out around that time. Used to live with my sister and my brother-in-law and, you know, their kid, but they were having a second kid, so we had to go because house was getting a little packed, so we had to give them some room. We were just all living together as a family, and for clarification, I still do live with my parents, and I will explain why later. Not that it really matters if you live with your parents, it's not a huge deal. the economy sucks right now, but I at least have a reason for it, is what I'm saying. We moved here and I was really excited because in the prior house, with it being so packed, my room was next to my niece's, and with the noise and just how loud my voice is and everything, I kept hearing complaints about, you know, being loud and everything, and I wasn't necessarily able to 100% be myself on camera because I had to kind of close down every reaction, whether that's to a clutch, whether that's with shit talk. If it was at night past like 7, 8 o'clock, then I kind of had to really tone it down. And you'd say, okay, why don't you record during the day? I did, for one, but it's also kind of difficult when the majority of your friends are getting on late at night, and throughout the past couple years, you have school during the day, and then you have work, and the best times typically were at night. So I was excited to get here and have my own, what I wanted to call the studio. It's literally just a half-finished basement. I get some bugs down here. I realize I have a fear of crickets, and I was going to turn this into just my YouTube area, and I wanted to be really creative. I wanted to have a photo shoot area for merch, even though no one bought it. I wanted to have a TV like you can see in the background to be able to play on console, and especially the 360, which you can see down there. I wanted to have my setup. I wanted to finally get acoustic foam up, and I get in and everything's going okay. You know, the basement's coming along nice. I was still working a part-time job at the time, so I wasn't getting that much money, so I couldn't instantly transform the basement like I wanted to, but everything was okay. I was dealing with a dual PC setup because my main PC couldn't handle playing and recording COD, so I had a shit second PC that could honestly barely even handle recording off of a capture card. It was so jank, and that's why around that time my audio in videos were pretty bad because I had to use a whole different mixer for it, and that mixer was cheap and it sucked. Over time, as I was starting that and as I continued working, I don't know what happened to me mentally. I don't know if it's the change from being in that house around those people for, well, like 7 years maybe. I don't know if that's a dramatic amount of years. I'm not sitting here trying to actually think how long we were there, but we were there for a long time, since before 2019 at least, or maybe 2018, 2019 was around when we got in there. Countless memories, you know, YouTube memories and accomplishments, family memories, a whole bunch of shit. And I'm not sure if that necessarily had a effect on how I was feeling, but I started overthinking like I always do, and I started having second thoughts because my mentality was, oh, you're gonna end up in Korea anyways, and once you do end up in Korea, you can't make Call of Duty videos. So you have to, and you're gonna end up having to make either IRL content or K-pop content, or, you know, all that stuff, because I wanted to do videos on those countries and everything, which I'll explain more, I'll touch more on later. And the main problem was, sure, I could do both Call of Duty and that content at the same time, but if I'm gonna mainly put my effort into those newer videos, then I would want to make money off of it, even if it's just a little. And this channel is the only channel of mine that's monetized. My second channel isn't. So, and I wasn't going to restart doing Call of Duty videos on a second channel. That's dumb. So what I felt was the only solution was to stop making Call of Duty videos, because I was going to end up stopping making them anyways, and go and make that new type of content, which is why I dropped that video in the first place. And I was going to do that. But after that, before I could even start, like as I was just trying to plan some videos, started overthinking again, and all while this was happening, I started randomly having these sleep issues. It always happened the night before work for some reason. I don't know if it's because my mind just knew that I had to get up early, because at this time I was working a part-time job where I was waking up at 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning regularly, which before was never a problem. But all of a sudden I'm struggling to fall asleep, and I try, like literally no matter how tired I am, no matter whether I took medicine or not, like I was struggling to sleep. I could not sleep, and it was making me panic because I, for some reason at the time, felt like it was the end of the world if I went to work tired, which was dumb, because with my full-time job now, I'm working from 8:30 to 5 p.m. I could stay up all night tonight and I would probably be fine at work tomorrow. But that entire thing was causing me to just be miserable in general. I was constantly overthinking everything that I wanted to do. I was thinking that I wasn't good enough, and that I wasn't good enough to do everything that I wanted to do. I was stressed out because I wasn't getting any sleep. A lot of other stuff that I really don't want to talk about, and I don't necessarily have to talk about, was just going through a lot at the time. And I think that also kind of helped guide my decisions in the way that they went. But then I ended up going back on what I wanted to do because I was overthinking it again. So I went back to Call of Duty videos, and then I started overthinking again, and it was a back and forth in my mind on what the hell I wanted to do. And if you know me, that's always been a problem with me. There's way too many things that I'm interested in. There's way too many things that I want to do, and there's way too many things that I know I can do, and I want to do it all, but I physically can't. I mean, I could, but I'd be miserable. And so I was toughing it out, and I was still kind of going through some stuff. It started to get a little bit better, late October, around when Black Ops 7 released, which I was lucky enough to be able to participate in the Call of Duty Race the Master Prestige, which I hope I can do again this year. And it's like I constantly say that, like, I always end up back on COD for some reason, whether that, like, just even with content. In general, yeah, I've never stopped playing COD. Even when I stopped making COD content, I've always still continuously, consistently played COD. But I always went back to making Call of Duty videos because I think that's the only thing that feels right to me. Maybe because I've been doing it for half my life. But even during the Call of Duty race, I was still dealing with some stuff. It was a little bit better, but I was still dealing with some stuff. And it just slowly started getting better. After the Prestige race, I made a couple more videos, and then I stopped for about 4 months, I want to say. And throughout the 4 months, got to spend the holidays with my family and New Year's, and kind of refocus on life a little bit and kind of really figure out what I wanted to do. I lost my cat in December. I had her since 2014, I want to say. So practically as long as I've had this channel, I had that cat for. And goddamn was she fat. She was so obese. Around December, I finally got an opportunity to get into the job that my mom and my sister work at. But I found out that it required me to have a license, and I never got my license prior. I've always just held my learners because I never had a reason to drive. I never really went out to do things like that. Do I wish I would have gotten it sooner? Yeah, sure. But I didn't, because I really didn't need to. And I don't necessarily regret not doing that. So throughout December, I went through the driving school stuff, and I went through all of that, and ended up throughout the beginning of this year, I ended up starting that job at the beginning of May, and now I'm making probably the most money that I've ever made in my life, with room to grow within that company too, which is fantastic. And just essentially last year was just a roller coaster of emotions. I don't think it's not even an exaggeration, but I don't think I've ever been that miserable in my life. I think the only thing that really, like, truly got me through that was the music that I listened to, and I've said that a couple times to friends. And I don't know if anyone really takes me seriously with that, but that is a genuine, true, and serious statement. It genuinely would have been absolutely unbearable to any extent if I didn't have the music that I listened to. Because one thing to know about me is that music is like everything to me. I don't know how it's grown to be like that, but it is. But I just was completely unsure in what I was doing. I was demotivated. I didn't feel like I was enough. I was constantly, like, in my head, talking down on myself, telling myself, how stupid I am, that I can't figure this out, or that I can't, do what I want to do, and all this stuff. Even though throughout the Prestige race, I was very happy with the content that I was making, and I actually had a decent bit of viewers on Twitch regularly, and I feel bad because I kind of just disappeared. Now, granted, I kind of just have a history with that with Twitch. That's my bad, but the fact that I ended up doing it with YouTube is really unlike me, and anyone that has been following my channel for a long time will know that that's unlike me. I usually never go months without posting a video. It is very, very rare that I take an extended break. I think this past break, the 4-month break that I just took before coming back to make those couple Modern Warfare 2019 videos, and then taking another 3-month break until now, with the Fanatics Fest and MW4. I only took like one break before that, and that was right before I moved, because I was so ready to move and do a whole refresh and come back strong. I wanted to take a month or 2 off, plan a bunch of stuff, come back with a whole new area, and be able to greatly open the doors of what content I could do. And I came back and didn't do jack shit, and I genuinely hate myself for it. And I think it doesn't help that I was really trying to push YouTube to be a job, and I have been trying to do that for the longest time. And that stresses you out even more, because you're constantly trying to upload frequently, you're constantly trying to fully edit videos, and you're trying to make sure that every video is perfect, while also just maintaining good quantity. And it's really hard with no motivation to deal with quality over quantity. Some other stuff that I just thought of, I mean, I've been recording for 17 minutes, and I know majority of this is going to be included. I told you this was going to be like a podcast. I'm not expecting anyone to sit here and listen through it, but I'm doing this out of a courtesy for the people who would want to, you know what I'm saying? So you can feel free to skip this. I'm cool if this video gets fucking 7 views. It doesn't not bother me. What I just remembered about last year, I don't know how I forgot. I was so focused on the moving aspect of my problems. Throughout all of that, I just started seeing a psychiatrist a couple weeks before I moved. It was because for the longest time, for years, ever since I think around 2019, 2020, I was always told by friends of mine that one, knew people who had it, and or two, had it themselves, telling me that I likely would have ADHD. And I've always kind of been suspecting of it because of, I mean, obviously the main thing was the constant fidgeting, but there were so many other things that piled on top of it. And I'm not going to go like too in depth on everything, but essentially I saw the psychiatrist and we went through from like my evaluation and everything. And we somehow got onto the determination that I had bipolar disorder, which my parents at the time were like, that doesn't make sense at all. You're not like that at all. And even my friends, even my best friend Ryan was just like, I don't know if that's, you know, right. But my mentality was, I mean, like, they're the professional, you know what I mean? Like, they're the ones that know. Looking back at it, I definitely think I might have answered a bit wrong, and not necessarily as if I was like trying to say certain answers, more so like I was letting her pounce on certain aspects of my life that really had no correlation with what I was trying to get fixed, if that makes sense. Stuff that like really wasn't a problem. And so of course with that diagnosis, I was put on medication for that, and that medication fucked me up. I was gaining weight, which was making me uncomfortable. Not a lot of weight, but just with how skinny of a person I am, which I'm sure you guys have seen before. You know, I'm a very skinny person. Any bit of noticeable weight just like made me want to vomit because I just hated the way it was looking on me, even though everyone around me was telling me that I looked great and better than before. I didn't see it that way, so that was a constant mental battle with myself. And because of the type of medication it was also changing my mood and my personality, and I felt like I was slowly losing myself. And that, alongside of all of the moving stuff and the constant bickering with myself and what I wanted to do, it just, none of it was a good combination. Maybe that was the reason why I ended up having those sleep issues. I don't know. The timeline's a little blurry. I can't remember if I stopped that medication before I started having the sleep issues or if I was doing it through that. Like, I genuinely don't remember. But around that time, those were the kind of things I was dealing with, and that's not getting too in depth. But I'm also just a very open person, so I don't mind sharing this, because I mean, like, what are you gonna do, judge me? I don't give a fuck. I get judged on the internet every day. Because if my parents ever watch this video, they're probably gonna not like that I'm sharing that. But I mean, it's just, what are you gonna do? It's life, you know. I don't care. I've been broadcasting my life on the internet for years, so it's fine. I'm not giving it away anything too personal, not anything that I'm uncomfortable with, at least. But I mean, we ended on a good note with that ADHD story. Ended up, I stopped seeing that psychiatrist before I started getting better, and waited a couple months. And earlier this year, I saw a new one, and because I was still having the same issues that I've always been having, that seemed like it correlated with ADHD, and I went to talk to a new psychiatrist. And my mentality going into it was, because I just didn't want to blindly take medication. I wasn't even going there to take medication. I wasn't even going there to get treatment for ADHD in general. I just wanted to know whether I had it or not. I wanted to know if that was just something that's been happening throughout my entire life, and I just didn't know about it. And with my prior experience, I went in with the mentality of, I'm just gonna go and figure out if she says that I have the same thing that the last one said, then maybe they were right. But I'm still not going to do medication for it, because I was much happier without the medication than I was with. We go through and we're talking about things. She's asking me questions, and she instantly were seeing signs of ADHD. She did a questionnaire that I had to fill out, and then my mom had to fill out with stuff that she noticed about me on a daily basis. And that gave her solid proof. And within a very short amount of time, she knew that I, had ADHD. So it's fun that that was so easy, but it wasn't last year for some reason. And that annoys me, because it makes me wonder, if I would have seen this doctor last year, would things have been better? Because there's one thing that I'm willing to say. The very first medication that I've ever tried from a psychiatrist, from that last one last year, I was still living at living with my sister and my brother-in-law and all of them. It was Caplyta. And when I took that shit, I couldn't sleep that night at all. I felt like my skin was burning. Like, I felt like I was going through like drug withdrawals. Like, it was bad. I can barely even describe the issues I was having. It took me hours to deal with it and fall asleep. There were multiple times that I could fall asleep, but I would end up waking back up because of the feeling. It wasn't like to the point where I needed to go to the hospital. Like, I was able to deal with it, but I was just miserable. I was just like begging for the time to pass quicker. More so begging for me to be able to fall asleep and get through the night. I ended up having to have like calming music playing in order to get me to fall asleep. What a fucking night that was. Holy shit. Anyway, so that's what was also happening last year. But now we can kind of get towards the end here, and you know, I told you I can yap. What's funny is, speaking of podcasts, I was originally wanting to start a podcast when I moved into this place. Not going to reveal the branding for it yet, because there's still a chance that I might do that in the future. I don't know, but it was going to pretty much be for all things COD related, pretty much just everything that was happening in the COD scene during that week, or every 2 weeks, or however I want to do it, maybe every month. I don't know. Depending on how consistent I wanted to be with it, whether it was you know, regarding competitive COD or normal, or you know, other content creators in the COD space, just everything COD related. I wanted to do something like that, and I was gonna do that with Ryan, and he might still do it with me if I end up starting it back up. But we're gonna wait. Maybe once we get closer to Modern Warfare 4 season, then maybe I can consider that. Maybe I can get an area set up for that down here, because if I'm gonna do a podcast, maybe it happens over Discord, but I would prefer to avoid that. I would rather have that be in person with an actual camera being pointed at it. But anyways, that leads us to now. I just went to Fanatics Fest and I just played Modern Warfare 4 early, which was so much fun. The game is great, and I know I say it every year, it's the COD cycle. I know, I'm not denying that, but granted, I've always had the mentality of, I understand the issues that we've had with Activision, Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer, Treyarch in the past, with just Call of Duty in general, with, you know, the trust issues and the poor decision making. Like, I get it. Not everyone's going to be happy with the game, but I realized that no matter how much I hated a certain game, I still ended up playing it a decent bit, because no other FPS game plays like COD. So MW4 could come out here and be worse than Black Ops 6, which is my most, like, you know, disliked COD out of all of them. Granted, I still played it. I would still play MW4 even if it was, you know, that shit. Granted, it's a Modern Warfare game, which is my favorite, you know, sub-franchise in the franchise, and it takes place in Korea, which is perfect for me because I want to live in Korea. So it's just like, it's made for me. Hello. You mean to tell me now that in future videos I get to mix like Korean art, like it's not like a Korean art style and Korean branding into my thumbnails? Like, yo, that's awesome. Like the Modern Warfare 4 thumbnail that I just made, I felt like looks fantastic. I love it. The logo for MW4 is so nice. I was wondering how they were going to do it, because I kept seeing Modern Warfare SA, which is foreign Korean. Granted, there's multiple different ways to say foreign Korean, but that's like kind of like the main, most common one. I was wondering how they were gonna do that, because that sounds like shit. It doesn't sound good. It doesn't roll off the tongue. Modern Warfare 4 is much better, as I just botched that pronunciation. But they ended up doing SA, like, you know, the Korean characters in the logo, but they kind of warped it and tilted it to look like an English number 4. Granted, they use, you know, the same number system as us in Korea. It's just pronounced differently. Anyway, so I'm back making Call of Duty videos, but the difference is I'm not trying to make it a job. Now, I mean, like, you know, would I love to make connections with people? Would I love to work with COD if the opportunity ever arises? And would I like to collab with other people? Absolutely. I'm always open to that. Hit me up. I have my, you know, business email out there. I can be contacted on any of my socials. I mean, like, I've showed such resilience throughout my career. I think I'm a very trustworthy person to, you know, work with. And if I make it into a job, sure, absolutely, I'm gonna go for that. But I'm not desperately trying to. I'm going to have fun with it. I would like to post at least once a week. That's my one goal. I want to be more active on Twitter, and I want to upload at least once a week. That's my main goal. I would also like to be a little bit more active on short form like platforms, but let's take it step by step though, because I hate making short form content. I always have. But I'll be frequently uploading Call of Duty videos, you know, from now on. Like, we've already started that that era of my channel, you know what I mean? Like, we're back with Call of Duty videos. You have this, and then next week you'll probably get another Call of Duty video. Not sure what it's going to be of, but I'm not sure if it's going to be of Modern Warfare or any other game. Like, I don't know. Maybe you might get one, you know, sooner than next week. Maybe you might get one in a day or two, or this weekend. Like, I don't know. Just kind of trying to have fun with it. You'll only get good, like, well-timed videos from me if it's like based around like a Call of Duty update or like the Call of Duty release, when I need to push out a video within like a certain time frame. 1.0 Plus is also going to be coming back. That's a pretty big one. I want to try to make 1.0 Plus kind of, if I can, the thing that I'm known for, if I could do that, because I feel like that's probably the most innovative and most creative thing that I've done on my channel. If you don't know what 1.0 Plus is, it's a series that I've done and is coming back. So, you know, go watch the older videos. They're kind of insane. Where I essentially play Call of Duty, whether it's Respawn or Search and Destroy, it kind of just depends on what I'm feeling that day. And I do like a challenge, whether that's physical or in-game, and I try to have a positive KD, and I keep a, like, while dealing with that stipulation, and I track the KD that I have at the end of it, to then track the win-loss on the series. So, I don't remember what my win-loss is for the series, and I'm not going to try to, you know, go and figure that out. Closer to when the series returns, I'll probably make a post about what my win-loss is, so you can see that on Twitter. So go follow that. It'll be linked in the description. I've done spicy challenges, like I've eaten the world's hottest gummy bear while playing Call of Duty, and I've played with my monitor upside down, and I've, you know, played with a shot collar. I've done a bunch of dumb things. And I think that's probably the coolest thing that I do on this channel, aside from the normal search and destroy videos. But I want to kind of bring that back, you know, bigger and better than ever. I kind of want to make it into a actual like series, like maybe show style thing, with kind of as big of production as I can personally handle. Not that it's going to be anything crazy because I'm just one person, but I would like to do some pretty cool things and format it in a way that makes it seem like a bigger deal than it originally was, because it is a pretty big deal. I'm kind of putting my body on the line in some of them. But I have a bunch of new ideas. I have new branding, which you've probably seen. And there's just way less pressure for me because I'm not trying to force myself to make it into a job. If it turns into a job, sure. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's time to just have fun while pursuing my other aspirations. And speaking of other aspirations, I started a travel channel, which you can go and subscribe to. It'll be linked in the description. As I mentioned before, what I was thinking about doing eventually was when I moved to Korea, I was going to switch to IRL content. And that's going to happen one way or another. But I know that I'm going to be traveling before I actually fully commit to moving there. I'm going to be visiting Korea first. I'm going to be visiting, you know, Japan, Norway, you know, anywhere in Scandinavia, you know, the UK, Germany, other states, you know, just places that I've never been to. I want to explore. I want to teach people. I want to teach people about the world and other cultures and how people live, because I feel like, specifically as Americans, not just singling us out, but a lot of people around the world too, we have such a privilege to be able to access, you know, media from outside of our home country. And I feel like a lot of people can be very self-centered in how they view other people's way of living and other people's, you know, culture and their traditions and everything. And I want to make people more open-minded about things like that. I want people to realize how cool other parts of the world is, because I mean, it's a massive place. Like the US, for example, I believe like was around only like 4.2% of the world's population, which is fucking insane. I think the number one's like India or China. Like, what the hell are you guys doing over there? Like pumping out people left and right. I shouldn't say that. That sounds so bad, but I want to do that. And it's not like I can just go instantly travel the world and teach people about everything, because I don't know everything myself. I know a lot about Korea and Japan. I know a lot about a couple other countries, and I can teach people about places and things that are done there, and how, you know, daily lives are, you know, lived. But I still need to take my baby steps in exploring and experiencing that and learning that entire process for myself for the first time. Which is why I booked my first trip to Korea. And that flight is in just over 2 weeks. And so on that travel channel, I'm going to be taking you guys with me on my journey through South Korea for the first time. You'll get to hear stories of my background with how I kind of fell in love with, you know, that country alongside Japan, because it was originally Japan, like it is for most people. And I still love Japan with everything in me. It's more so kind of like, I think I'm a little bit more interested in the culture of Japan. But I'm a bit more interested in the media and living style of South Korea. So that's why I kind of leaned more towards wanting to live in South Korea rather than Japan. But the thing is, like I said, things change. I might end up moving to Japan, you know, instead. I don't know. That's years from now. But like I said, I'm gonna be taking you guys with me. I do have some specific videos planned for being in South Korea, because I'm gonna be there for like, I think around like 5 days. I'll be able to go around and explore and do things. I originally was going around the time that I was going for the ITZY fan meet, I tried to get tickets and I just couldn't because I didn't have access to the pre-sale. And I still don't have a ticket. But there are still going to be like a couple other opportunities in the future leading up to even the day of the show for me to land a ticket. So that's what I'm trying to do. But you'll see specific, you know, set videos from me being there. You'll see short form content. All those travel socials will be listed in the link in the description, as well as just your typical vlog of just my, you know, experience of just going to the country for the first time, from leaving my house to boarding the, you know, plane in Washington, D.C., to taking my first ever flight, because I've never been on a plane before, over to South Korea, learning how to navigate their, you know, train system, getting to my hotel, and managing all of that for the very first time by myself, because I'm going alone. And through all that, like I said, you'll hear stories on, you know, my opinions on things. It's pretty much, you're going to see a whole other side of me that I've never really shown, even more in depth than what I've shown majority of my like main friends. It'll be longer style videos. I'll be showing some cool things. I'll be talking about some things that mean the most to me. Might go through some, you know, some happy times, might go through some, you know, emotional times, might go through some stressful times. You know, you're gonna see it all, and I'm gonna keep it as unfiltered as I can. And I think it's going to be a very fun time. I bought a camera for that. I bought the DJI Action 4 camera, and this thing is so nice. I have other equipment for this and everything, but I have a whole, you know, set of equipment that I'm bringing with me. I have a mic. I have a whole vlogging setup, and I think it's going to be a blast. So you can expect stuff on that as well coming within the next couple of weeks. I'm not going to post while I'm in Korea in terms of YouTube videos. You'll probably see posts on my Instagram, which will also be linked down below while I'm there, like on my Instagram story. It's kind of more my personal Instagram and not really COD related. I still kind of post updates on when I post COD videos there, just for my friends and other people that know me, that don't follow my, you know, actual gaming, you know, account. And I might post shorts. I'm very unsure on whether I want to do that during the trip. Depends on whether I'm bored at any time and feel like editing a short or two, in which case I might just upload one. But it's likely that I'll keep everything just on a hard drive, and I'll edit and slowly upload videos throughout the following like month or two, maybe longer, depending on how far I want to space them out. And depending on how many, you know, videos worth of footage that I get after my trip. And I'll also at the same time, if I remember to, I'll probably try to get a Call of Duty video to be scheduled to go up throughout that week, because we'll be arriving back technically on the 13th here, and then literally the next week is COD Next and the Modern Warfare 4 beta, so that'll be shortly after that. So there's a lot of content, there's a lot of plans, and then afterwards, I don't know when I'm gonna book my next trip. It'll probably be Japan. I just don't know when that'll be, but any other major, you know, thing that I'm doing in my life that I'm going out and doing, I'll likely, you know, film, and it will be posted on that channel. So can't promise consistency, but I would say put on notifications for that, and you'll see on social. That's pretty much my plans. It's been 40 minutes and I've been non-stop yapping, and this isn't even the entire video. I remember that there was like a little, because I like being dramatic with production. You know, there was probably like a fucking montage of like my recent clips before my break or something that I put at the beginning of this, like something dramatic. Like looking at my notes, I don't think I was supposed to mention the return of 1.0 Plus. I think I was supposed to hint at it at the end with like a little teaser. Well, I mean, I can still show the teaser.